Hey, this is Dave coming at you from Southeast Michigan. The last construction video I put up, I believe it was the shingles getting delivered. And when they were getting delivered, we almost had the framing done. And so let me see. Yeah, I hope the video does it justice. This took us 2.5, 3 weeks. And it would have been a week and a half, but we were dealing with a lot of terrible weather, rain, the three things you don't want: rain, wind, and heat. And it was just about the same on all of them. A lot of heat, a lot of wind, a lot of rain at the beginning. But originally our addition here was a really flat, like you couldn't even call it a one pitch, and we had a terrible leak, and it leaked for years. It's an embarrassment, but I was so busy and I knew that eventually I'm going to rebuild it anyways. Right there is this huge leak into our house, right, but it was like close to the wall, and it was just so annoying. It got worse and worse every year. So this is all completely resheeted. We actually raised this up, put all new joists. I actually insulated all of it. And since we have drywall in here, we had to, the first sheet, we pre-stapled the vent bats in here. So you can see the vent bats. We put one per joist. So we used a nice 2x6. We got the shingles from Benson's Lumber, and we got the wood from Curtin Lumber. I don't know why we did it that way. I just always gotten my lumber from Curtin, and I've always bought shingles from Benson's Lumber in Pontiac. I just don't know why, but that's it. Then we got this overhang. You'll see kind of what we're going through. And the house itself, it's kind of funky, and there wasn't really some squareness to it. It's weird. Like right here, you can see it kind of dives in at the end. It kind of goes up. Like this addition wasn't built in an exactly straight line on the garage. It was strange, but so we got this done. Let me see if I can walk back. You can't really get a good look on this valley, but maybe I can get over here and we'll see it. That was a lot of work to get all this done. And so what we did, they actually literally used like 3/8 plywood on this. It feels like it's 1/4 inch, but when I later looked at it, it's 3/8. So they didn't use like Luan, but it was close. When you walked up on this roof, it felt like the whole roof is rotted. And then once you start taking the shingles off, you realize, no, nothing's rotting. It's just 3/8 plywood. It just was so weak. It would just start splitting and cracking, even when Steven walked on it. And Steven's like 150 pounds. And I'll show you I'll walk around the front and show you what. So we got this whole entire side as of now is done, except for the ridge cap. Oh, and then I'm proud of this because it was kind of plans in the making. For years, when we remodeled some stuff, I put a fan in there, and I was just busy with rental houses or whatever. So I did the typical, I'm a builder, so my house is the worst built. I did that. The vent up there did not vent out. It vented literally into my attic, and it was kind of by a ridge vent, and then it has vents. I'm like, oh, it's still probably going to create black mold in my house. And I was right. All of the plywood we're tearing off that we have to tear off anyways in this area kind of does have some black mold to it. So I'm like, yep, I was right. But it didn't damage any of the insulation at all. And the stink pipe comes out. Notice how my chimneys now is gone. And that's great, because what I did is I went ahead and took out my perfectly good water heater, and Justin and I, right before we did the roof, put in a power vented water heater. So that's all it is now. Power vented. We have the vented 90% efficient furnace. So no need for an actual chimney for natural gas. We still have our real brick chimney for our fireplace, but we got rid of our chimney on the top because the way of the future, no one's going to be using 80%ers. The way of the future, everything's going to be vented out the side. There's not going to be any furnaces or water heaters in the future vented out the roof. So I'm proud to say that doing all of that planning and getting all that done makes it to where there's only 2 things coming out of my roof: the exhaust vent for the bathroom and my vent pipe for my plumbing. And then let's see, over here in the front, I had Justin and Steven tear out the front to prep for the plywood being tore out. Now you can see here how we did these overhangs. And then we just let that piece stick out, and we'll wait till all this is built, snip it, and then fold that piece down. I'll show you the front. We have to rip this down. We just did 10.5-inch blocks with a block between it. What this does is it makes it to where you can nail nails this way, so you get more shear strength than just tensile strength. If you shoot them in this way, you'll get tensile strength, which just pulls away. Oh, the gnats are out. But then it makes it to where you can nail something this way. So when you nail these blocks in this way that are against the house, you don't shoot your nails straight in. Shoot them on a slant, like Chinese fingers. That way you can't get the pull out, because you don't want to shoot nails in straight in a lot of times. So that gives it strength for the shear strength of the blocks. The strength really comes from when the plywood ties to it and shoots into it. But this also gives you a spot to double nail your vent soffit or your rake soffit if you want to nail it. So yeah, we got up to here, and then they had no soffit venting in here, so I had them take off the gutters, and luckily this is kind of already built. So we're gonna just build an overhang out here. We're gonna chalk a line deeper in to get more meat for a 2x6, because they had this all 1x6 here. And yeah, so we're pretty much 2/3 done with our roof, even though I still haven't done this front side yet. Because the back side, we had to completely raise that roof, and there was the valley, and there's just a lot of resheeting. But unfortunately, we have to completely resheet the entire roof, because you can see the humps in the roof. They just use such weak plywood. What are you gonna do though? You gotta fix it. And that's where we're at with this. And then, man, these gnats. After this, roof is done. Before I even start doing the siding, we're bringing up the siding. We're actually gonna paint. We actually have, we quoted brand new gutters too, which was a reasonable price. I think it's like $2,200 to do the whole entire house with all the downspouts, with the leaf guard and everything. We went with the company that has like more of a premium material that they use for the leaf guards and stuff. But unfortunately, since we are building overhangs, it forced us to take all of our siding down. And since this is aluminum, I don't care what anybody says, aluminum is the way to go with siding if you're trying to find a product that is not as good as cement board. But your vinyl siding, to me, in my opinion, let me quiet my voice in case my neighbors are listening. Vinyl is it's just not a good product. It's just not. It cracks, it stains, the sun bleaches it. It's just a terrible product. So what we did, since aluminum is so expensive, is we took the pieces off carefully. We wrapped tape around them, and it's just labeled in groups, like where they go. Like this one, there was only like 1 or 2 that came off, so Justin just labeled it garage. That way when we go to put the stuff back up, and we know where it goes. And then after this, oh, but what I was going to say is, once I get the roof done, we have a couple things to do in Pontiac. We're going to come back here and finish all of this. Finish the soffits, the siding. We're going to paint my house. And then by then, Nikki said we might as well build the new deck, which at this point I'm kind of agreeing that we should. Nisha, you can't come out here. And she makes a good point that once we do all this work to the house, our deck's gonna look like crap. And our deck does need to be rebuilt. We got rotted boards, so I'll probably tear this out, and then our house will pretty much be ready to sell or to rent out, depending on what we decide to do once the other house is built. Which, talking about the other house, once this is done, which will be probably the rest of the summer, we're going back to the new build, and we're gonna aggressively start going for the plumbing and electrical and insulation. Because I really, if I can help it, I really don't want to go through one more winter being cold over there, but if we have to, we have to. Yep, that's the update on the roof. And yeah, after we get this stuff done though, I do have to pull off and do a few things in Pontiac. But oh, by the way, yeah, that was really fun going up through there with the step flashing, but we got it. I step flashed way up in there, and then I picked up, after shingles slid way up in there, and then I just picked up the step flashing on the face of the fascia, and then the aluminum wrap will cover that. But yeah, that was fun. Oh man, because it's just such a small angle that goes up in there. But we got it. Kind of looks good though with the overhangs now wrapping the chimney. And then I will counter flash the chimney once that's probably one of the last things we'll do. I'll do that once we have the break over here and we're doing all the aluminum on the fascia. But all right, that's the update on the roof. This is Dave signing off.